Just a quick note about projects. There are some features that every project must have. The ones that are proposed on the web page all exemplify these ideas, but if you're proposing your own project, you may want to make sure that they have these three attributes. The first is that they must use at least one sensor in a non-trivial way. The second is that they should solve an engineering or societal problem. And the third is that they should be a compelling mobile application. Let's look at some example projects that don't satisfy these three criteria. So let's imagine that you have two phones. On one phone you type, and then on the other phone you see what they typed. And you can do this over and over again to chat. You know what we could call it? iChat. So projects like this won't work. Why not? The first is that these projects would build another service that's just like a service that's built into every phone ever. Ever. So, another big deal is that this application does not have a sensor involved. We're just transmitting information. So it's information technology, but it's not an engineering problem. We're not meeting some design goals. We're not making sure that we satisfy some kind of tolerance on a measurement, etc. So here's another example. I know where I am. I am here. And if I am here, I could call the app, I am here. So you might ask yourself, where are my friends? If I could know where my friends are, now we'd be able to find where my friends are. So why doesn't an app like this work? Oh, no, wait, no, I have a better idea. Where's a bar? If I know where a bar is based on where I am. No. A bar where my friends are. This is even better. Why doesn't this work? Why isn't this a good project? First of all, the design is trivial. There's not that much to do on the mobile side. All the intellectual property, and in fact all the interesting information, is in databases. The other great reason is that there's no non-trivial sensor work. The only sensor that you have is the GPS. And you're not even processing GPS information, you're just displaying it on the screen. And another factor, there are already dozens of location-based service apps. Any idea that you can come up with in a couple of hours thinking about projects is probably already in Foursquare or Facebook. So you're not going to do better than what's already out there and has millions of dollars of venture capital invested. So here's another example. Let's say that I have an app where you can enter the kind of car that you'd like to have, the miles a year that you drive, and the app will tell you, should I buy a Prius? So you enter the information and it tells you something. And you might think, this is a great idea because with this kind of information, I will be able to save the environment. People will see how to save the whales and they will love the app. So I'll copyright it. So why won't this work? Even though it's noble, I still don't like it. And the reason why is because this is not a compelling mobile application. It may solve some societal problem, and it may tell you something that's useful for you, but this can all be done in a web page instead of on your mobile application. So here's another great example, a perennial suggestion that students have. I want to make a game. And I know that my game is going to be successful because it's based on some other game that's already out there. And I know that people already want to play it. So why don't I like this idea? In fact, why don't I ever allow games in the class? The first reason is that there are too many use cases. In order to make a fully functioning game that people want to play, the number of use cases you have to provide is too much to fit within the requirements for this class. There also aren't that many engineering problems that you have to solve to play a game. You might be processing sensor information from an accelerometer, You might be determining strategy if you're designing a computer player, but there aren't enough of these problems that need to be solved. It's also difficult to verify the requirements for a game, because the chief requirement for any game is that people have to want to play it. If people don't want to play the game, then your game is going to be worthless. And so much of someone wanting to play a game comes from the look and feel of the game, which has a significant amount of investment and time to develop the user interface. And I don't want you to spend that time on the user interface in this class. I want you to spend the time on developing the engineering problems. Once you've solved those problems in this class, you can decide to make a game later, but it won't work for the class credit in this class. So remember, when you're thinking about your projects, I have to use at least one sensor in a non-trivial way. I should solve an engineering or societal problem, and it should be a compelling mobile application. If you have these 3 attributes met, send me an email with the concept, and we'll talk about what the project could be.